Addiction by Davon. So we're going to start with a little game here. We're going to raise your hand if this applies to you, okay? Raise your hand if you have a cell phone. Now raise your hand if you have social media downloaded on that cell phone. Raise your hand if you have more than one social media platform downloaded on your cell phone. Now raise your hand if you spend about 30 minutes on your phone a day. An hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. So this shows how social media has a huge impact on our life. And I'm going to show how, I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing, but I'm saying social media is basically inevitable. So before we talk about the social media, we talk about the cell phone in general. So the cell phone first was a game changer. Today you need it in life to stay connected with the world and stay relevant, basically. So I'll tell you a little story about my mom back in the day. So when she got home from high school, she was dating this guy, we'll call him Jim, right? So Jim and her used to talk all the time, but when they got home, they didn't really have the chance to talk because my dad was on the cell phone with a business, on a business call, or my mom was doing something with her friends, so she'd always wait for the wired phone to call Jim. And so when she didn't want to talk to Jim, she would have to call him and then talk to their parents, to then who would talk to Jim, and then they would be able to talk, but only in the kitchen. They didn't have the luxury to go up to the room and talk about whatever they wanted. But that was the cordless phone. So then the flip phone came out in the 90s, and then the BlackBerry in the 2000s, and then the infamous iPhone in 2010. So as technology advances, so do we. Here's some stats about the cell phone. About 75% of people are addicted to cell phones. 55% use them during dates. And out of 1 in every 4 car crashes is caused by a person looking at their cell phone. Like I said before, it is a necessity to stay connected with life, which is why we all basically have one. So the social media, let me define social media for you. It's websites and apps that allow users to create and share content on social networks. You may know TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, all prime examples of social media. And it basically targets the 14 to 29 age group, the younger generation. So first I'll talk about some positives about social media. Social media basically helps us stay connected with people around the world with one click of a button. There's no traveling everywhere, and you can meet new people. You can meet new people around the world and in your community through a cell phone or through social media. Sorry. It also allows people to have mental and emotional health, so that you can easily set up online Zooms like we have seen in COVID today, with therapy sessions. And so some negatives about social media. Social media shows social media is a big, it shows how it's the perfect body or the perfect life, and a lot of people can compare to that and say how self-conscious or insecure their body is, while compared to other people online. And social media is always going to be the best of the best. There's never going to be any lows on social media. People always post their best appearance, their best party, and what's the best going on in their life. They never show what's the bad side of their life. So that's one negative. Another negative is called FOMO. So it's called the fear of missing out. The fear of missing out. So it's basically like, I'm sure we all know, I've gone through this where, let's say some of my friends are hanging out and they post something on social media and I'm not invited. I feel let down, I feel excluded from that group. And it doesn't always have to be a personal situation. It can always, like I said before, it can portray someone's best life, and you are comparing your life to theirs, and that causes depression and makes you feel more alone, which is pretty ironic. That's what I thought. So, and then the last negative of social media is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying over media is basically about your body appearance and how they act and how they're treated online. give an example real quick. Let's say a kid is being bullied on the playground. He's able to go home and disconnect from whatever he's being bullied by and who he's being bullied by. But if the kid has an Xbox or a telephone, they won't be able to escape that bullying. It's just a constant. The kid's constantly getting nagged at and picked on. But I saw it online, and there's a study that 719 people who committed suicide. 40 to 59% of them had relation to cyberbullying attacks, which is pretty interesting and very sad. But cyberbullying is definitely the biggest one I've seen so far for our generation.
You click and.
Oh, there it goes.
Got it.
There it is.
Thanks,
So, text versus FaceTime versus person. So, I see three big different ideas when I think of these ways of communicating. Text and FaceTime, they're good. I think FaceTime's better than text, but according to Dr. What was his name? His name was Dr. Paul Booth. He did a study on how FaceTiming and building relationships is not the same as being in person with the eye contact and the one-on-one connection. He says that when you're on FaceTime, you don't have the opportunity to get to know the person better and have that physical connection like you do when you're in person talking one-on-one. So that's different ways of communicating. And then amongst us today, we have COVID-19, and I thought this had a huge impact on me and the community around me with social media and everything. When quarantine hit about, over a year ago, we had this long 3 to 4 month period of quarantine. And if y'all remember, I didn't do much social activity during that time, and I found myself always on my phone, my computer, my electronics. And the good thing about social media during this time was that we were able to connect with everyone and stay connected and keep communicating. But also the bad part was that when I was out of the quarantine and I started interacting with people like in public who I didn't know, I lost my I lost a little bit of my social skills, and I couldn't find that, I couldn't make that eye contact. I couldn't be present, if that makes sense, for the whole conversation. I had to work to build it up, and that's what I found. I think that people are too dependent on social media socially. I think that, I've said after the 8th month or the 3-month quarantine period, people had a hard time losing social media and getting that one-on-one conversation back. And so like I said, the positive and negatives, but I also have some solutions to fix social media and its addiction on life, on people. If you set 30-minute timers a day to limit yourself from social media, you have I have an Instagram timer. If it says 30 minutes, I've tried been on Instagram for 30 minutes, so time to shut it off. And then just simply turning off your phone or devices at meals, in line waiting for groceries, before bed, while you're driving, and definitely in the morning. I've seen a big study on that. If you wait till you're fully awake to look at your phone, you're more active during the day and more productive. And then disable the buzzers and alerts, because every time I get a buzz, I'm like, oh, we gotta check it out. I think the do not disturb on. That definitely help a lot from you checking your phone, from you checking your notifications, and then also go outside and find a hobby that you're passionate about. So, thank you.